Right, this is a meeting of the Southwick Sewer Implementation Committee. It is 6 p.m. on October 24th, 2022. We are meeting via Zoom, and I see another member has just joined. That's good. As soon as she logs on, okay. Hi, Freda. We're here. So in attendance, we have as members, we have Brian Pranka, Randy Brown, Freda Brown, and myself, Jerry Patria. All right. At this point, we've taken a roll call. We'll ask for public comments if there are any. I don't see any others online here. So not seeing any, we move on. The first thing we need to do is take a look at the minutes of our last meeting, which were January 19th, 2022. Has everyone had a chance to take a look at those and possibly make some comments?
Make a motion to accept as is.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, Randy seconds. All those in favor? Brian Pranka,
Aye.
Randy Brown,
Aye.
Freda Brown,
Aye.
Jerry Patria, aye. Okay, motion to continue. So basically, we're just kind of getting caught up. This is our second of the year meeting to talk about what might be new. Last time we kind of talked about the potential for expansion. Maybe Randy could fill us in on that a little bit. And that's really the only thing other than the pumps. Have they been upgraded? We had talked about some potential upgrades to the pump system. At this point, maybe Randy, you could just kind of fill us in on what's been going on.
Yeah, so there's not a whole lot to report. There may have been one or two connections here or there since our last meeting, but we're not getting any new services. Jerry mentioned the pump station project on Prifty Park. So when we met, we were probably in the process of finishing the design and going out to bid for that project. And this was morely replacing of the existing pumps, generators, motors at that facility. So we did that. We went out to bid. We got one bid and it was pretty high. So we ended up rejecting that bid. And with a thought, this was, early summer, late spring, early summer, when we opened bids. Just as, after Russia and after prices skyrocketed across, the board.
All right.
So we figured we'd wait a little bit and then regroup and then rebid that at a certain point.
Okay.
So we were thinking fall. We haven't pulled the trigger on that yet, but hopefully someday soon we'll be re-advertising that project.
Okay. All right. That's good.
Randy, can I ask a question? First is is that stuff ready for catastrophic failure, or is it just an upgrade that we're looking at?
It's an upgrade. So we have that's probably our biggest problem child is Prifty Park Pump Station. And the issue is we get a lot of rags and other debris that cause the pump to lose its prime. So because it's a suction lift pump, it's prevalent to losing its prime. So we get service calls every once in a while. It's not like it's a big deal to clean it out, but it is a time-consuming task. So we want to upgrade that pump station with a new pumps they'd be submersible pumps.
Yeah.
And they would handle any small rags. They'd handle it much cleaner than the suction lift pump that's there
The
now.
suction lift, yeah, that's what we have in there now, right?
Yeah, all the pump stations were suction lifts.
Yeah.
We upgraded Berkshire Avenue probably 3 or 4 years ago to a submersible. And that's the model moving forward, is every couple of years, hoping we can upgrade each, one pump station every few years.
Well, that'll be good. Yeah. Let's get them in.
Yeah.
Second question, Randy, is how is the systems being paid for on their own? Is it a self this is a system taking care of themselves, or is it you running out of monies? Just a question.
So finance wise, no, for the most part, our sewer users are footing the bill for our sewer you know, they're footing the bill.
So it's self-supportive
There
then.
there is one line item. It's called the IMA payment to the city of Westfield. So when the pump station, when that facility was upgraded 25 years ago, Southwick was a partner of that. And at that point, we purchased a share of the facility as 500,000 gallons of flow a day.
Right.
I think it was a $6 million gallons of water, 6 million gallons a day project. So our share was, you know, what 1/12, I guess, or whatever the number is. So that was our cost, the whole total project. So we pay that a separate note on that, and we pay it directly. So, but that does get paid by the town of Southwick, not by the sewer users.
Okay.
There have been, in the past few years, there has been, you know, I'll call it a subsidy where the town help pay the finances of the sewer department, but, you know, that's, well, I know the select board are trying to get rid of that, trying to wean off that. So to an extent, there is some town contribution, but it's heading towards completely sewer user paid
Users. Okay.
process system, yeah.
That's all good news then.
Hmm.
Okay, thank you.
So I had a question too. We were talking about capacity last time and the potential of hooking up Hudson Drive. Anything new on that development, and approximately how many gallons a day are we sending to Westfield these days?
So right now, our average is about 150,000 gallons a day.
Really?
Yep.
That's low, huh?
Yeah, so
below what our
yeah,
initial-
we were up 170,000 gallons for a little while, but we found a pretty sizable leak,
Ah,
or a couple manhole leaks. So we took care of those a couple years ago, and that since then our flows have been a little closer to 150, 155 a day. And then so Hudson Drive is a project that we're looking to get funding for,
yeah,
to loop that road and expand the industrial park. There's a gravel operation that's close to being complete at the very end of Hudson, and Tilcon is a company that owns the property now.
Yeah,
And what they typically do with these properties is once the property's been mined, they subdivide and they sell. And so this would be I think a good spot for to expand the industrial park.
yeah. That's
So
a
there's
great
been some concept plans. We actually applied for a grant through Mass Development Program to design design the road connection between Sam West and Hudson Drive. And
Yeah.
as part of that would also be to design a sewer system to serve those properties on Hudson. So I don't know what the sewer usage is for the existing properties on Hudson Drive. It's probably not that much. You know, there's some light industrial out there.
Right.
I could go through some records and get the number. As far as what the potential is for expansion, that's hard to say.
Yeah.
There was a feasibility study, and I think they took a stab at some numbers. It was something like 30 to 50,000 gallons a day potential. But again, that really depends on what the use is, and
Right.
so it could be lower, it could be higher than that.
Yeah. Well, we have all this capacity, we have 500 gallons a day, 500,000 gallons a day. And we had been talking about what potential neighborhoods we could connect, and we tried a couple options, and those didn't work out too well for us. And I'm just wondering if in your mind, are there any new available areas that could potentially be sewered?
Well, why don't we hold that discussion for one of the topics on new to business?
Okay, we can do that. All right. So, anybody else have any old business or just general questions to ask? We'll move on to new business if we don't. And I'll give the floor back to Randy.
Sewer survey results, is that what's on your?
Anything that might be new that, since last January that we haven't been caught up on. If you've got any interesting news here that we could just, as a committee, be aware of.
Yeah.
Jerry, the master plan.
Yeah,
Master
so
plan
the master
survey.
plan.
Oh,
You
the master plan, sure.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah,
Yep.
All right, so did everybody take the master plan survey? Raise your hand.
Yeah.
Yes?
I took it? Yes, I took it.
Brian, you didn't take the survey? Gene?
No, I didn't.
Come on, you.
Well, yeah, my husband did. Does that count?
All right,
Oh.
so anyway, so there was, there's a master plan
Yeah.
committee that I'm a part of. And over the summer, we had a survey prepared, sent out, available for any resident to fill out. And there were 30 to 40 questions on the survey, and they ranged from everything about the town regarding town government, finances, infrastructure, what type of development you want or don't want to see in town. Basically, what in your mind, what is your vision of the town in the next 20 years?
Right.
So a couple questions related to sewers, and that's kind of one of the reasons that I think this is what we should talk about today is the question about sewers. So there was one question. So
Right.
first of all, we had 900 responses, which wasn't terrible. Out of maybe 9,000 or so residents, probably less than that because of people, kids, maybe 8,000 residents or so. 900 surveys. So as we go through these numbers here, just keep that in mind. It's about one in 8 people took the survey, okay, in town. So there are questions. First question, or one question is, are you connected to the town sewer system? Yes or no? So you see the results here, 210 yeses, 678 no's, and 12 no responses. So about 3 out of 4 people who took the survey are not on sewer. So for those people that said no, there was a follow-up question was, are you interested in sewer expansion to your street? And I thought I was surprised by these results. Of that 678, 314 said, yes, I'd like to have sewers to my street, and 352 said no. So not quite 50-50, but
Yeah.
close to it. I was thinking it'd be a lot lower than that. I thought sewers was a dead deal in town, but I had a little bit of hope when I saw those numbers.
Yeah. Was there any
Can-
indication of where those properties were that did one?
Yep, we're getting there.
Okay, sorry.
I was gonna ask the
Questions
same
before we get
question.
there? Yeah, Mom, yeah?
I was gonna ask that same
All
question.
right, all right.
Randy's got it all planned out.
Here we go. Here, drum roll, please.
All right.
All right, so of those that said no, but yes, I'm interested, or actually, this is the yes and no. What I did is, so as part of your survey, you had to give your address.
Right.
So we could geocode locations of every response. So I took all the responses and I broke them down by, first of all, by street. And then so I got, the first one here, Jerry Drive, there was one person on Jerry Drive said, yes, I'd like to have sewers. And that was the only response on Jerry Drive we got. So as we go through these, you'll see the responses by drive, hold on one second. You're probably gonna meet across the way there. I'm not sure. That's okay. That's okay. Yep. So I broke these down by street first of all, and then I was thinking, well, that I'm gonna break these down by neighborhood. So I think it's easier to break it up that way and look at them as a group. So I look at this. So this section here, all these streets are part of College Highway North section. So Jerry Drive is an easy one. As you're looking this Morningside, Sawmill Park, and South Village, those are all part of American Inn, or what was American Inn. It's now the cottages. You see Rosewood and Winfield Circle. So I tallied up all the yeses and the nos. Basically, do you want sewers? Yes or no? And I came up with the totals and the percents. When you look at this, so I have a 1 in parentheses here. So when they gave their address, everybody was eligible to sign to do the survey. And so if there were more than one person in the household, sometimes you got 2 responses from one house. So that 1 designates that there was 1 repeat, the same response from the same household.
So it should have been, so if you counted as 1, it would have only been 3 votes.
Well, I guess it's how you want to look at it.
Yeah.
I'm showing the results, but so yeah, so this, if you want to look at it by property, then yes, that would be a 3.
Okay.
But total people responded, it would be 4.
Okay.
So I broke these up by sections, and I did it by the percent. So this College Highway North section had the highest percent of people that said yes, 81%.
Right.
Again, it's only a pretty small number, 21 responses, from that neighborhoods, but 81% said yes.
Hey,
And I'll just go down the
Randy,
list
hold
here.
on.
So I broke this. The next section is the northeast corner.
Randy,
So,
I
this is-
want to, Randy, hold on one second. Just so everybody understands, if you go to the top of that list, that's all those condos there. There's been nothing but issues there for years.
Mhm.
Rosewood Lane, Sawmill Park, Winfield, those are all those condo complexes, and it's huge money to fix. So just,
Yep,
Give 'em-
Winfield's on
Yeah,
there.
but they only
second or third
want to
system.
come when they have a problem.
exactly.
Mm.
But there's a lot of votes in those little complexes that are saying, oh my God, this is what's going to happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess so. In the American Inn, there's probably 150 units.
Right.
And of those 150, we got responses from 4.
Yeah, that's not a very good response.
No.
No,
And
no, but
it changes. It
it's better
changes
than-
depending on who's living there and who's still around too.
True, yep.
At one point, we talked
Like
about maybe,
Winfield Circle, there's, I think there's 30 or 40 units in Winfield,
Yeah,
and Rosewood has around 50.
yeah. I know there's been problems there, but maybe, if that does come to fruition, maybe we could do with them what we did with the other complexes, have them do their own infrastructure and then just run a stub to it, and then they could solve their problems that way. There's probably ways of doing it without us going in and doing each individual place. When you have a whole bunch of condos.
Yep.
What's that condo complex on Powder Mill Road? That's what we did there. They have their own, internal infrastructure.
Yeah, Southview Estates.
Southview.
Thank you, yeah,
Right.
something like that, but. Yeah,
But
that would,
the
that would,
Rosewood, the Sawmill, the Winfield, they're getting old, and there's a lot of medications and stuff that are going to come out at some point, just so everybody knows.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So the region that we got the second highest yeses was called the northeast corner. So this is Tannery Road is the main road, and then all the side roads off of Tannery, including the new subdivision, the Greens West, the Greens East. So these we got looks like 43 responses, 25 yeses, and 17 nos. That was the second highest percent.
interesting. You would think that new neighborhood would want,
Well, not if they just put in their sewers, their
Yeah.
septic systems.
that's
Those are
true.
all two-year-old less septic systems there.
This is true. This is true. In other words, call me when it fails, right?
Yeah.
Right. All right.
The next one was South Long Yard Road and the neighborhoods. So this is the one that surprised me the most, actually. It was, there seemed to be decent interest in this whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
And some streets in more than others in particular.
Yeah.
But overall, there was 57.5% interest in having sewers to South Long Yard Road and all those neighborhoods off South Long Yard.
Right. I know we tried to do
But you got
that.
a lot more people that responded, so that's important. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
And those are, and I think that for the most part, those are a more your age demographic, Randy, in those houses.
Yeah, it's a higher income bracket area too,
Yeah.
in most of those neighborhoods. Yep.
Yeah, there's some nice houses in
So
there.
those are people that might be there for a long time and will realize that their sewer systems are gonna fail, or
Yeah.
the septic systems are gonna fail.
Yep.
So there's some potential for future. I mean, maybe just take it down South Long Yard and do some of the side roads if we have enough interest. But I suppose at some point, people are going to want to know how much. That's usually the first question.
Mhm.
And we had kind of come up with a different strategy here for phase 2 than we had for phase 1. And what we ended up with, I believe, is it's not mandatory, but the town will not be paying for your connection. You have to pay your own connection. However, I think, I forgot exactly how we worded it, but it wasn't a betterment. It was something else. Do you remember the wording, Ed?
It's a connection fee.
Just a connection fee, right?
So it's when you tie in, you know, here, you're caught. So when say a project moves forward and say there's just for, you know, ease of just discussion, you know, 100 EDUs or 100, you know, 100 units are outstanding, you know, it costs 100 units.
Right,
And each house is given 1 unit. So when they connect, they'll be assessed that 1 unit. They're not assessed it, you know, at, you know, when the pipe goes in the ground. It's when they connect to the system.
right. And I suppose the details of that would have to be worked out because you need to know the cost of the project before you can determine what one EDU is worth.
Yeah, so you could give projections, just like when the first phase went through, there was a projected EDU, projected
Right.
betterment cost.
Right,
You do the same thing for the connection fees, and then,
Right.
you know, the total cost wouldn't be known until you're done with the job.
do you anticipate that being a low pressure area? At least in the spurs? We're hoping
So,
gravity-
you know, I have not done anything like that yet.
Okay,
Any of these neighborhoods. So this survey closed like 2-3 weeks ago.
yeah.
So I really just looking at these numbers. This is as far as I've gotten is what's on the sheets here.
Sure,
Just looking at
just-
percents.
General interest and things like
Yeah.
that, yeah, without
Yeah.
having to dig into it. Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
Well,
my thought was, my thought process was if we see like one of these neighborhoods that, you know what, hey, you know what, there's a pretty good interest, or it seems like there's good interest. You know, maybe we should follow this up with, okay, you know, a full survey with it amongst everybody, you know, and try to get everyone's response.
Mhm.
Not just, you know, 1 in 7 or so, whoever that responded to the master plan survey.
right.
And that would help gauge whether there's truly is interest or not.
Do we have Brian's list of who failed?
You know what, Randy, I got a question for you. Looking at these pieces, and I can't go back to the top, but it looks like this is all the east side of the town.
Yep.
And the east side of the town has the best soils. So you look at most of these areas and it's all pretty much sandy areas, other than the Congamon Road, which we know what happened there. And I look at the whole thing going, well, if it's a sandy soil, it's a reasonable system. If we were to get to those bad areas of town where the bad soils are, the bad systems are, where they're already in fail and it's really a high expense to get repairs done, you know, you're better off. So I'm looking at there, Woodland Ridge is a little bit tough, but Treetop, South Long Yard, Pine Knoll Patriots, that's all sand there. It's all simple systems.
Mm.
That's all that's all I'm questioning is, you know, that's all reasonable areas to put systems and they operate great in those areas.
Yeah, I'm just giving you survey results. Nothing more.
Yeah,
No, I know.
yeah.
I'm just saying it's just
Yeah.
odd we didn't get anything from the west side. That's all.
Yeah, we're just kind of,
Brian, I haven't got there yet. We're getting there.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going in percent based on who was yes and who wanted it. So next page here, Feeding Hills Road and neighborhoods off Feeding Hills Road, 52% yes.
Mhm.
Here we go. I struggle where to fit in Congamon Road and Sheep Pasture Road. There's really no neighborhoods off of those. But I thought it was odd that of the 12 on Congamon Road, you got 1 yes and 11 no's. But then Sheep Pasture, which is right there next to it, they got 14 yeses and 4 no's.
good point.
I thought that was odd, but I grouped them together in one category because they are kind of close to each other.
Yeah, sheep pasture would be a tough area. I mean, that would cost some money with pumps and stuff there.
Yeah, all these would cost, yeah,
Yeah.
a bit of money.
So,
And then so those are the ones that had at least 50% interest. So now we go towards other areas in town, and we're gonna see, Brian, we're gonna get to the west side here soon enough.
Oh,
Here.
there we go. Okay. I'm sorry. Thanks.
So it's North Long Yard Road and neighborhoods, 42% yes. Here we go, northwest corner. So this is basically bounded by College Highway to the east and Granville Road to the south. That whole quadrant of town. And, you know,
Right.
45% yes.
Well, some interest, yeah.
Some, yeah, a lot of, you know, look at a lot of these, it was pretty much 50-50. Even look at each street, you know, it wasn't like one location in particular had more than the other. It was,
Yeah.
they're really 50-50 across the board. Actually, I was funny, I was looking at one in Honey Pot Road, and there were 2 surveys from the same household.
Mhm.
One person wanted yes, the other person said no.
A little turmoil going on there.
I'll let them figure that out, yeah.
Yeah, right, right.
Okay, southwest corner. So this, again, this is College Highway to the east and Granville Road to the north. Much less interest here.
Right.
You can see where my mom put hers.
Yeah, yes.
I was one of these 13, so I
Yeah,
can't say
yeah.
anything.
Good Jackson, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And let's see, southern section of College Highway. This would be from Town Hall South and some of those streets off College Highway,
Oh,
38%.
Huh.
And then this category here, so I grouped these all together. These are streets where they're kind of near our sewer system. For whatever reason, it's maybe didn't get to their road, or maybe that property wasn't developed. I'm not sure all the details on all these. But I grouped these together. There, you know, a lot of these are properties that are streets that are near the lakes, but they are not sewered.
Miller Road is.
Yeah, I think it's that house. It's just that property. They said was
Oh,
one
one
yes,
house?
who knows?
Okay.
I didn't go and look at addresses. Maybe there was
Yeah.
a typo when they typed it in, but
Sure. And then
that's
Gillette,
what-
Gillette, it depends on what side of the street they're on. Because they
Yep.
pretty much, the other side of that is Miller Road.
Yep.
So that's where we did phase 1 stuff. But yeah,
Yeah, so some of these streets you know, there's one in Berkshire. I don't know where, again, without looking at the address.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Tobacco Road, I guess that road wasn't.
Or
done.
not, yeah. I have a friend that lives there. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, you know, those, so I'm gonna go in more detail and like these, you know, one by one and look at the addresses, and
Hmm.
maybe I can reach out to them if I think there's a, you know, maybe there's a stub or a simple connection that they're not aware of.
This
Um,
is good information, Randy. I'm sad that more people didn't respond. You know, but at least
Well,
having,
it's just like going to a town meeting. How many come to a town meeting?
or vote, yeah, but at least we got something out of it.
Yeah.
And that's good. Is it possible to get a copy of this, Randy? Because I've been taking screenshots of these. This is good information.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I will. No, I have this. I'll email it to you.
Okay, great.
Here's Powder Mill Road neighborhood.
Right.
31% yes. And Sunnyside Road neighborhood.
We know about Powder Mill Road.
We know about Powder Mill, yep.
I don't think that's changed.
And then Sunnyside Road. And so this is the Sunnyside Road plus the ranch
Oh, yeah.
and Sawgrass, which is that new development off
The new
Sunnyside.
development, yeah. Well, of course, new systems.
Yeah, well, you got 2 yeses. Yeah, so.
Just to go back on one, Congamon Road from like Miller Road down to 10202. Was there, can you go back to that one? Because
Yep.
we tried to get those guys hooked up too, but again, the connection fee was the stumbling block.
Yeah,
we
Congamon
got
Road,
11
one-
no's, yeah.
1 yes, 11 no's, yep.
11 no's, yeah, okay. Because they were also, I want to say, approached for potential connections, and they also seem to not want to be able to pay that fee.
But that's what I was saying, the bad soils are. I mean, that's gonna cost them a fortune to
Yeah.
get in.
And it would have also given a connection down to the corner there where CVS is and all those
Sure.
businesses. And we tried to get that going as well. And
Yeah,
without that spur, and Randy and I both went to the meeting where it was turned down from the selectmen to put a dry line in, but water under the bridge at this point.
Yeah.
Would have been nice to have that, just to go on record.
yeah, I'm sure, I think there's some systems have been replaced on Congamon since then.
Yeah, all right. Well, this is good data and, potentially as the years go by here, people will have failures and want to be able to connect. If they're lucky enough to be adjacent to something where it wouldn't cost that much, potentially we could pick up a couple that way. But it would be nice to be able to get whole neighborhoods to take advantage of the flow that we purchased. We're actually below our original 175,000 a day. And we can serve a lot more. So potentially if we get more businesses in, we can do that.
Yep.
From 1, 3, 5, 6,
Sorry,
2, 9, 3.
gonna have to leave a message.
I'll leave your credit card number, Jerry.
Yeah, I want to sell me solar.
There you go.
But yeah, that's really good. I hadn't been privy to this data, but of course I filled out the survey and all that stuff was on there. That's great, Randy. Any more new business or anything else to talk about?
Any question on this before I move on?
No.
Okay, so yeah, I will email this to you.
Excellent.
And let me just get a screen share. here. All right. The only other thing that we had listed on our business was Suffield connection. And
Exactly.
I don't have any formal response. So I'll take it half a step back. So about a year ago, Suffield commissioned a new feasibility study for connecting the neighborhoods in Suffield.
Right.
And so they did a study maybe 10 years ago, and they wanted to have it updated. And they did that, and they finalized the report. They looked at, they expanded the area they were looking at. So previously it was, I think, properties mostly along the lakes, which would have a flow contribution of maybe about 50,000 gallons a day.
Mhm.
They expanded that to look at a little bit further into Suffield, still in the, not too far in the same vicinity as the lakes, but not lakefront properties,
Mhm.
and upwards of 150,000 gallons per day. And they looked at options, how to get sewers to those, those neighborhoods. I think they broke them down by regions or sections, and came up with a projected cost for each. And so they did that. They finalized the study, I think, over the summer. And so I have not had any formal discussions with Suffield. I had to have one discussion with somebody who's involved and familiar with the discussions that have happened in Suffield. And I think this seems like the sentiment was, this is way too expensive to move forward right now.
Oh.
So I don't think it's anything they're gonna be pushing.
Yeah,
For the-
That's usually the factor.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's too bad because they did put a lot of effort into it. And even, 15 years ago, we had been talking about it with them.
yeah.
So it's too bad.
So it's still out there, I guess, but there's really no, I don't foresee any happenings with that anytime soon.
Brian, do they have the equivalent of a Title V over there in Connecticut?
It's not equivalent to Mass. Mass is very strict and very very thorough.
Mhm.
They basically flush things, and if it goes down the pipe, it works. So there is an inspection on the system, but it's not detailed.
Okay. So there's probably no state mandate or anything like that.
So I've gone and done. I'm not licensed in Connecticut, but I've done voluntaries in Connecticut, and there's been quite a few systems that that passed down there or was able to sell,
Right.
but it wouldn't go through mass code. It would fail in
Yeah.
mass code. So
Okay.
a little different.
Yeah, we're just trying to, take some steps to clean up things, and it worked. I think it worked pretty good on the Massachusetts side, having that whole side sewered, but of course they're the other half, so that's why we've been kind of interested in that over the years.
Right.
All right, well, I guess that's pretty much all we have, and thanks, Randy. You've once again done most of the work, so thanks. Meet again another 6 months or so.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you, as soon as we hang up, I'll send you that file there so you can take a look at it.
That's great. That's great. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Anybody else have anything else chat about or discussions or comments? All right.
Life's
Make a
good.
motion to adjourn the meeting.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Brown. Do I have a second?
I can second that.
Mr. Pranka, thank you. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. The meeting is adjourned, and thank you all, and hope everybody's well.